You know what, something? This film pissed me off so much that I went and pow, 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 pow my punching bag in my gym. Because this film was fucking garbage. That I needed to let my anger out. That's why. Now let's just sit down. Okay? Shut this door. And let's terrorize a new asshole in 3D.
Be thou my vision, O Lord of my heart, not be all else to me, say that thou art High King of heaven, thou art. Hey, wanna play hide and clap?
Hey everyone, it's Donji Corleone here, and I am here with a brand new epic rant, and this is for episode 10 of Halloween Horror Movie Reviews Season 6. Yeah, goddamn plane flies close to the house as I'm filming this. God. You know, I guess the plane in the background must have hated this fucking movie so much, or was probably mad that I was about to talk about this movie, that it decided to be this noisy and try to prevent it from happening. But yeah, as you can see, I have my Friday the 13th 3D glasses on. Because this is going to be for none other than, guess what? The third film and the second unwanted sequel to this movie. Jaws 3D or Jaws 3 or whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's Jaws 3, but when it came out it was called Jaws 3D. Because this film was in 3D. And that was worse. For bad reasons. But yeah, this is for 1983's Jaws 3D, and it's directed by some fuck named Joe Alves. Some guy named Joe Alves. So, what's the plot of Jaws 3D? So, it's been several years after Chief Brody anticlimactically electrocuted a shark at Cable Junction. His sons Mike and Sean work in different roles at Seaworld on Orlando. Yeah, that's a great idea. Let's be even stupider and say, yeah, a shark going to SeaWorld. Yeah, that's perfect. Let's put it down. Perfect. Jaws 3, it's gonna go to SeaWorld. So Mike now works as a park engineer and considers marriage to his girlfriend, this killer whale biologist named Catherine Morgan. Sean, on the other hand, is involved with one of the park's water skiers, Kellyanne Bukowski. And SeaWorld is about to open a massive undersea kingdom. It's going to be visitors closer to marine life than ever before. Yeah, it's a great fucking idea. No, it won't. The park is accessible for the oceans by gates. One that, oh, you want to know how the shark gets into SeaWorld? It malfunctions because the staff are such idiots at fixing stuff. This young great white shark through the gate, and a maintenance driver goes down to fix it. He does not return because, yeah, his ass is eaten, obviously. The young great white is captured and placed in a tank, but it dies despite Catherine's efforts to save it. And more alarming, though, the shark's mother is the one doing the attacks that followed the baby shark in the lagoon and killed the maintenance driver. The body got recovered. It is long before the shark begins wreaking havoc. And Mike and Catherine, along with the SeaWorld manager, Calvin Bulcard, and photographer Philip Fitzroy, have to eliminate the shark before they are the guests for the shark's next meal. And my cat wants out. Hold that thought. So, as for my reaction, Yep, this was coming from reviewing 1 and 2. It's not as bad as certain one we're going to get to in a few weeks. But this is still one of the biggest piles of shit in cinema. Like, what the fuck? And Jaws 2 is at least kept in the ocean. Jaws 3D, why the fuck are we going to damn Seaworld? How the fuck could a shark get into goddamn Seaworld all the goddamn sudden? Because nobody fixes the goddamn gates. The staff are all dumb as a brick. Our new concept, like go to SeaWorld. Wow. Okay, let's get this fucking over with. So, the film, how was this movie made? Well, the film made use of 3D during the revived interest in technology in the 80s. Yeah, 3D was a thing in the 80s. It wasn't a thing, it was a thing long before Avatar or Blue Smurf Monkeys was a damn thing. 3D was there long before that was even a damn thing in 2009. It's only more used now because of that damn series. The damn series is the only reason it's even used more. Back then, it wasn't all over the place and it was barely used. 3D was the thing in the 80s. There was Friday 13th Part 3, the glasses I'm wearing for this review. And there was even an Amityville 3D. Why the fuck was there? Why the fuck was there an Amityville 3D? I don't know. But back then, before we had like real D glasses, or 3D glasses were this. They would wear disposable cardboard polarized 3D glasses to create the illusion that elements penetrate the screen. So several shots and sequences were designed to utilize the effect, like the shark's goddamn destruction. Oh no. The shark's death. Which is one of the worst horror defeats I've ever seen. And I'll get to that later. Since 3D was ineffective in home viewing until the event of 3D televisions in the late 2000s, the ultra-detailed Jaws 3 is used for broadcasts and home media. And guess what? After the film was officially shot and advertised, it would be released 5 years after Jaws 2 in 1978. And guess what? This movie got even worse reviews than Jaws 2. Like, that is not shocking at all. But it was decently still successful enough despite that. And it was followed by... yeah. It was followed by that one. But that one ignores this film, and it's even worse. But that is safe for another review. That's gonna be even more ripped to shreds. And that's gonna make me more fucking angry and swearing my ass off. Just watch when I have to review that film. Alright, so what is the bad qualities in the story of Jaws 3D? So, as you all know, Jaws 3 or Jaws 3D, it might as well just be called Jaws 3D. This film's about a man afraid of sharks. What's his plan? Oh yeah, work at a place called SeaWorld and put himself into much more PSD than ever before. Great idea to move on for the events of Jaws 2. So one day this rubber shark that can swim so fast enters the park because the gate is malfunctioned and nobody bothers to check it. To see, it goes into the park, it just looks around the park, and whenever it sees people, it eats them. So, Brody Jr. realizes this and spends the rest of the movie in the water. So after a bunch of stupid tension and thrills, the shark is destroyed in the dumbest way possible, and they live happily ever after in 3D in your face. Yeah, a film can claim to have 3 dimensions when every character only has one. The story in this movie, oh yeah, idiotic as hell. The acting, horrible. The special effects, these special effects are so abysmal. These look like a 5-year-old made a video game and randomly just added a bunch of underwater shit. This is what you get on a computer game from the 80s or PlayStation 1 console. It's the Jaws 3D. Like at one point, the shark in many scenes, literally looks like a cardboard cutout. It looks worse than it did in Jaws 2. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a cardboard cutout because of how cheap this studio obviously was to get a real shark. And even there's instances where this happens, where in one bit, when a shark ghost smashes through a piece of glass, it can tell it's not even near the damn glass, and some of the glass breaks. Yeah, the viewing area at Seaworld. And then the water rushes through a broken panel. The shark is just sitting there like, what, am I supposed to kill them? Or, am I supposed to eat them? Or, am I supposed to break in the lab? What am I supposed to do? Yeah, this film is so damn bad. It could make a drinking game because of how bad this movie is. Like, it would be so impossible to make such a bad movie in the 80s. There were a lot of bad films in the 80s, yes. But it's impossible to make a even worse sequel than the forgettable Jaws 2, but you managed to accomplish that. Not once. You accomplished that twice. Director Joel Ellis really just makes a rubberized dummy here that looks like cardboard, attempting to raise chills. But the audience, even the viewer, they can obviously tell the shark is fake. And if you see and obviously now, because you can't see this in 3D now, it's normal high def, so the film is so awkward. When people stick out to the camera from harpoon needles or pens or even a bit off horribly cardboard cutout arm that was from a body that was bitten by a shark, with or without the effect, the script sinks in garbage. How would anyone... I don't know how anyone agreed to let this movie be made. There's no suspense. There's no excitement. It's 96 minutes long, and it feels longer than that, actually. And it's just an insult to Jaws. It's too much of an eco-friendly message. Exploit people's unfounded fear of sharks. So, how do we start off the film? So, the son of Police Chief Martin Brody, named Mike Brody this time around, it's been years since Jaws 2. He's now working as chief engineer at SeaWorld. Yeah, because remember, Jaws 2, he almost got killed by a shark in the ocean with his friends. Obviously, he's scared of the water. So, what's the plan to cure that? Work at a place with water called SeaWorld, which has ocean water. It is an ocean place. How is that going to cure your PTSD? He works there with his girlfriend. This was a senior biologist, and one of the attractions are these underwater tunnels that allow for a view of the undersea life. Yeah, this is going to be great to cure your PTSD from Jaws 2. Great. Eventually, though, because nobody pays attention, the gates get stuck open, and a shark follows this team of water skiers in the park. The water skiers are how we start this movie off. As soon as you start off with these random water skiers, you know you're about to be in for a nightmare to sit through. Then King assistants notice these dolphins, especially these two individuals, don't want to leave their pen and they go out in the lagoon. So the park manager, the generic boss, Calvin, welcomes his friend and hunter, Philip Fitzroyce, and Mike's younger brother, Sean, who also has PTSD of the water, and somehow agrees to go to this place too. I don't know why. He arrives for a visit to take the summer off from college. So one night, Shelby Overman, this mechanic, dives in the water to repair and secure the gates. But guess what? The shark kills him and attacks him. His right arm is severed, and it looks awful. It looks horrible. Some of the worst effects from the 80s I've ever seen in my life. And two criminals as well go into the park to steal coral they want to sell, and they're killed by the shark. It is clear, Jaws at this rate is now just some wannabe slasher. What was once a suspenseful shark film from Steven Spielberg Steven Spielberg, got reduced to being a Friday the 13th wannabe in the ocean. Like, this director clearly had no respect for this material, or probably knew a thing about Jaws. Yeah, the fact for a movie about a killer shark, like, there's not an abundance of shark attacks. Like, there's like only really 2 shark attacks in the film, and most of the film it's filler at SeaWorld, filler at the stupid ocean exhibit that I would probably not, that looks lame as shit. What else can I think of? More generic boss. More generic stuff with the 2 brothers and their lame girlfriends that we don't care about. That's all half this movie is. And this feels like 2 hours. This is 96 minutes and it feels like 2 hours long. Like, if a director would actually respected the original Spielberg film, I think the last thing they would ever do, the last thing these would ever do, is make such a lazy 3D mess and have meaningless dialogue between characters you don't care about. You want to slap a kill me note on them as soon as you meet them because they're lame and they are generic and they are stupid. And the climax of the film, is so laughably bad with the visual effects. And whenever the shark storms the park by either smashing these plastic windows or going through bumper boats or speed like it goes so fast. Like I don't think sharks go that fast. No, this shark feels like it's on speed up mode. Or it's like as if a 6-year-old is playing in the bathtub or just playing in the pool, has a toy shark, like that. It looks like they were filming that or something. Like, if they were smarter, they could have saved us all 90 minutes and just had the shark get killed right away, but not just with the bad effects, but the whole climax itself is just stupid. Like, the only characters you get from the first 2 films are Chief Brody's 2 sons. They abandoned everybody else. There's no Chief Brody in this film. There's no Amity Island in this film. No. There's none of that. You get the Jaws theme, and the Jaws theme in this version also sucks. Like, the first half an hour is filled with Friday the 13th grade teenagers, faffing about in SeaWorld, and when something does happen, any suspense or terror gets ruined by horrible effects from 50s movies. Like, even 50s movies have better effects than this piece of shit does. Like, if the plot actually had effort, it was done by a good director that probably actually cared about Jaws and maybe wanted to make a better film than Jaws 2, then I wouldn't have minded the sluggish pace. The first film wasn't really a short film either. The first film was over 2 hours. And so was Jaws 2. But guess what? No, that's not here. Like, the plot is unoriginal, and it's basically a non-event. The suspension, tension, and thrills. What made the original so memorable, so amazing, so timeless, such a game changer to movies? There is next to none of that here. The music, the Jaws theme sucks, the direction sucks, they do not help. Like, the music is predictably placed, which spoils the mood of the scene. Direction feels pedestrian and tired. So, the next day, back at SeaWorld, Kay and Mike get informed of Orman's appearance, and so they go in a submarine to look for his body, and they encounter this great white that's only 10 feet long, but then these 2 dolphins just randomly show up, and they rescue Kay and Mike, but the shark goes back into the park. Wow, how would we see that coming? So they inform the generic boss, and the generic boss's friend, who think, we gotta kill, who they suggest, you know what, if we're going to solve this problem, let's kill the shark on network TV. Kay's like, no, we should capture the shark. That's against the law. That's against wildlife. And that is animal cruelty. Put it in there. Let's keep it alive in captivity so more people could come to the park. So, your idea. Keep it in captivity instead of, kill the shark so it doesn't cause any more deaths. Keep it in captivity. Let everybody see it. and not think that it will probably kill a bunch of people in the underwater exhibits. Is this a great idea? Right? Am I right? What? Am I right? What? Am I right? No! Okay. You are so dumb as shit. To think that this would be a great idea, capture it, and not think it'll probably escape when they're in the underwater exhibit and probably drown a bunch of people. But they listened to her idea, and the shark gets captured. And King of Staff tried to nurse it back to health. Calvin wants to start more money, wants to have more money rolling in because he's a generic boss. He wants to have money. He wants to have that sweet money from all this. And Orson moves to the exhibit, but guess what? Yeah, guess what? Because you want to know something else about trying to get sharks in a place? They're impossible to get into a place without drowning. They rely on water to survive. If they do not have enough water, they will suffocate and die. Yeah, so guess what? As soon as it's moved to exhibit, it dies. So Kelly's like, come on, Sean, we need to go in the water let's go in the water, go on some bumper boats. But despite his PTSD, as this is when the park is opening, and eventually the guy with the severe CGI arm is discovered, and when they see the body, Kay realizes the shark killed was actually the shark's mother. And so guess what? They captured and killed the baby she had. That was the baby shark. That's why it died quick. So guess what? They pissed off the mom. Yeah, you just led the mom to Seaworld and now got a bunch of people killed. But she convinces the generic boss about the newest development, and the shark then, guess what? We get the stupid window scene where the window CGI looks dog shit, and then it goes up, and when it's not even near the window just breaks. Because that's cool. That's cool in 3D. And so it gets flushed out for refuge inside this pipe, and then the shark wreaks havoc on the park. It wreaks havoc on a lot of the exhibits. It wreaks havoc near this hula dance. Like some weird, we cut to some random hula dance during all of this. It's one of the dumbest things. It wreaks havoc on the beach area of SeaWorld. Kelly's injured. Yeah, I don't care about that. Good. Probably the one who came up with that stupid idea to bring the baby shark here in the first place. And guess what? A leak nearly drowns everyone in the underwater tunnel when they're literally trying to evacuate everybody. But the shark sees them and sees, yes, yeah, trying to dive at the tunnel and drown everybody. But then, guess what? The generic boss, his friend, and his assistant, they go to the filtration pipe to try to lure the mommy shark back in as a trap to kill it. Jack wants to close the pipe's gate, but the generic boss's friend leads the shark into the pipe, and the teeter rope then snaps because of the strong current. And so guess what? They're now trapped in the pipe. They can't reach a ladder, so they're going to kill a shark with a bane stick. It does not work at all. Now, there's the thing. When it's not in 3D, at least the locations look real. That's not what makes the film so dull and cheap. The dull and cheap stuff is the slipshod editing and the rubbish effects. The shark lacks menace. It feels incredibly gimmicky. Joss 3D has cheesy trade dialogue and superficial characters that you don't care about. Like, this shark is now just Jason Voorhees turned to a shark, turned to a fish. I got to swim in the water. If Jason Voorhees were not afraid of the water, this is what it would be. Now Jason Voorhees is now this mommy shark that's killing SeaWorld guests because instead of release her baby back in the water, they decide, let's capture this thing and let's exploit it to a bunch of people. Nothing could go wrong. Imagine if this was imagine if this was the mom shark you captured. Everything would be worse for all of you. And hopefully the mom shark would have killed all your asses. Hopefully. I'm surprised this wasn't made as a comedy and was taken seriously. And barely anybody gets chomped except for some guy in the opening. and some criminals. One character, yeah, the Bjork boss, who's a stereotypical greedy boss that sees dollars and ignores stuff, has a new low blunder. There, of course, what else can I think of? Yeah, you have the two brothers now, and they're just now generic. They don't really feel like main characters at all. There's nothing you really care about them. And the shark barely looks like, despite it being a pissed off mom, Mattered Kid was captured and probably died in a sea park. Doesn't seem like it's that angry at all. And it's way too slow because the only reason it's fast is because they just clearly lazily sped up the whole shark swimming. The only reason the shark eats anyone is because, well, they put the body in its mouth. And guess what? The shark doesn't want to bite down on them. It just carries a person in its mouth and they're just automatically dead. Yeah, this was a flick that came out back when 3D was just being invented. But the effects are ass. Like, even this film I'm wearing, Friday 13th 3D, that had better 3D effects than this movie has. Because guess what? There was actually effort in the 3D version. Like, they didn't. And the 3D version wasn't really made until after the 2D version. Like, so guess what? The shark proceeds to even kill one of the main characters before this pin from the grenade can be pulled on it, and that character is dead. And so, Mike and Kate realize, hey, the shark got lured to the pipe. So, they go repair the underwater tunnel, which you should have did that earlier. So, the technicians are able to start air pressure and drain the water that's almost drowning the guests. And the generic boss orders the pump shut down to basically suffocate the shark, but guess what? This does not do anything. It's able to break free from the pipe and attack both Mike and Kay. But then guess what? The two dolphins that you saw Kay like training, they show up out of nowhere. They save the two, and they get to the control room, and the civilians underwater tunnel are safely evacuated. The water drowns, but then the shark comes back at the front of a window. It smashes through more shitty plastic glass, and the control room is flooded, and a technician is dead. And I'll get to the finale in a little bit later. So what Friday 13th Part 3 did a reasonable job of this 3D effect. Like I said, Jaws 3D, just a crap fest with its effects. Like, underwater shots, hideous. Too much grain and too much plastic. Lack of detail. Underwater shots just show no effort to try to make this actually good. This is the third film to a film like the original Jaws. The original Jaws was a masterpiece, but it had a troubled production. It was made on a tight budget. And Steve Spielberg realized he couldn't really rely on effects to carry the day, so he focused on the human element and filled his cast with the best talent he could get his hands upon. And showed the shark in brief glimpses, whether it was direction or ability, and the performances really kept the viewer focused on something other than the cheapness of the effects. That was one of the great things about Jaws 1. You did not need to make this 3D. If you were going to make no effort in this 3D, then don't do it in 3D. It did not add anything worthwhile to the movie, and it made it even more cheesy for worse. There's one point where Sean's girlfriend tries to get him to overcome his PTSD to the water, and of course, Mike finds him in the water, and then the next morning, Sean literally tells his brother, I was close to doing it in the water last night. Yeah, pretty much doing something illegal at the beach the previous night, which could get you arrested. Yeah, maybe Mike actually makes sense there, because if you do it on the beach, it's illegal. And you could actually get arrested by the police. You could go to court. You could go to jail. And you could get banned from the beach for life. So maybe that's why he stopped you, because you were basically doing something illegal, which you're not allowed to do at the beaches. And hell, you're not allowed, I don't think you're even allowed to visit the beaches at night, past closing. They have strict schedules when you go to a beach. And the amount of shark facts that got so wrong is tremendous. Like, in a movie that feels like over 2 hours, like the final nail in the coffin was trying to do this in 3D. So now we get on with the finale. So, how the shark dies is when the shark's mouth is open. Mike notices the earlier guy's corpse that drifted from inside its belly is still holding the grenade. So Mike uses his bend pull to pull its pin, and the grenade's explosion gets triggered, and it kills the shark. And how the shark dies. Literally, when it blows up, its guts, its teeth fly out the screen in horrible fucking plastic. Here is how this bloody trap goes. Yeah. The people, this is how the shark dies in the movie. So, the shark is dead, and he and Kay take cover, and then Mike and Kay celebrate, and the dolphins come back out of god fucking nowhere. And they jump up and they turn all orange. And apparently, these dolphins somehow are cartoon and they survive their battle with the shark. Yeah, that's the end of Jaws 3D, people. The shark is SeaWorld, the shark is dead. SeaWorld is safe. These dolphins come out of nowhere and they are in a freeze frame shot for over 20 minutes. And then the credits roll so fast. Because guess what? They probably ran out of budget for the credits. Because they wasted their whole money on the horrible 3D CGI. So, 20 minutes of freeze shot, and then credits like... just like that. A film that was over 2 hour long felt 96-minute film. Finally, this movie is over. Wow. This was brutal to watch. Thank God I finally got through this rewatch. After reviewing this film, I likely don't have to try to think about this film that much. Now, do I have any good qualities? Do I have any good qualities? Anyone? Does anyone have any good qualities here? Oh, wait a minute. Fuck no. No, I don't. None. But I guess you could watch this as a drinking game. Actually, no, don't do that. Don't do drinking games if you're going to watch films. That's bad. That is bad for you. That is dangerous. Drinking games are dangerous. Don't do those. Those are dangerous as hell. Okay, don't do drinking games when you're watching films. That is bad for you. And that could get you sick. Don't do that. Actually. I guess just have a drinking game of soda. Alright? Closest. Just have a drinking game of soda. Right? To watch this film. But other than that, fuck this movie. It's horseshit. And so was the next movie. So in the end, Jaws 3D should be called Horseshit 3D that can never, ever, ever be watched by any fan of Jaws. Because this is such a train wreck of a movie for sure. Anyways, that's it for my epic rant on Jaws 3D. If you want to rate Jaws 3D, here's how I'm going to rank this movie. So overall, if you want to see this series become so low, this is where it is and gets worse and it does not get better. So just never ever see this. And if we're going to rank Jaws 3D, I'm going to give Jaws 3D a well-deserved 0 out of 10. Wow. Alright, there we go, guys. That wraps up Jaws 3D. So, take glasses off. Put these back in the Friday the 13th 3D Blu-ray. In my Screen Factory box sets. Where is it? No. I'm out of there, you stubborn thing. Back into the Blu-ray you go. Only needed you for the review. You could go back on the shelf with the other Screen Factory Blu-rays. Careful, I don't knock over figures. There we go. And after I turn this review off, I gotta put my boxing gloves back with my other workout equipment. But, yeah. As you all know, this was recorded September 19th. And I'm starting to decorate the place a little bit more with more Halloween stuff. A little bit more. Because now it's really fall by this point. So yeah. We are now done week 2. Week 2 is over. So, will Jaws the Revenge be next? Not yet. Because after how bad Jaws 3D was, I want to watch an actually good horror film for the next episode. And it's going to be another adaptation of an H.P. Lovecraft story. It's done by the same director who did Reanimator. And this one was requested by Wanzel Pictures. So that will be kicking off week 3. Alright guys, and until then, that will be it for this epic ranting episode. Thank you all for watching, and if you like this one to see more, and don't forget to subscribe to Don G. Corleone.